Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4. Welcome back to Ignite Teaching. I'm your host, Anderson. Whether you're driving to work, sitting in your classroom before the day begins, or simply taking a quiet moment for yourself, I'm grateful that you are here because today's question may sound simple, but it cuts deep. When did reading stop feeling like joy? Let that sit for a moment. Not when did reading become difficult, not when did students struggle with comprehension, but when did reading stop feeling like something we look forward to? Because I remember a time when reading felt different, slower, quieter, almost like stepping into another world. But somewhere along the way, for many children and even adults, reading started to feel like something to complete instead of something to experience. Let me tell you a story. A few weeks ago in my classroom, I gave my students time to read independently. Nothing unusual, just book, quiet space, and time. One student flipped through pages quickly, then another, and I noticed something. They weren't really reading, they were scanning, searching, looking for something exciting to happen immediately. After a few minutes, one student looked up and said, "Mr. M, this book is kind of boring." I smiled and said, "Tell me what part you on." He paused. "I don't know, I just started." That moment stayed with me, not because the child was wrong, but because of what it revealed. It revealed a growing discomfort with slowing down, with building meaning over time, with letting a story unfold. Here's something I've learned after nearly 30 years in education. Deep reading is a skill, just like focus, just like patience, just like listening. And skills are shaped by environment. We live in a world of instant everything, instant videos, instant answers, instant entertainment. So it makes sense that some children struggle when a story takes time to develop because nothing in their environment trains them for slow payoffs. But reading requires something different. It asks us to wait, to wonder, to imagine what comes next. And in that waiting, something powerful is built. The quiet truth about reading. Reading is not just decoding words, it is sustained attention, it is imagination, it is emotional connection, it is thinking without interruption. And when children struggle with reading today, it is often not a lack of intelligence, it is a lack of practice with patience. Let's talk about what's happening in classrooms. Teachers, you've seen this. A child reads a paragraph, then looks up, reads another, then gives up quickly. Not because they can't read, but because their attention is constantly being trained elsewhere. Fast movement, fast reward, fast stimulation. But reading? Reading is slow reward. And slow reward feels unfamiliar in a fast paced world. So what do? Not panic, not blame, not shame. We teach, we model, we rebuild the experience. First, read aloud daily, not just for skill but for joy. Let students hear what fluent, expressive reading feels like. Second, build slow reading time. No pressure to finish, just sit with the text. Let meaning unfold naturally. Third, celebrate thinking, not speed. Ask questions like, what did you notice? What surprised you? What are you wondering? And parents, here's your invitation this week. Read with your child, even for 10 minutes. No rushing, no quizzes, just presence. Turn off distractions during reading time. No TV in the background, no phones nearby. Talk about stories, not summaries. Instead of what happened, ask, how did that make you feel? A deeper reflection. We often think the goal of reading is completion. Finish the book, answer the questions, move on. But what if the real goal is connection? What if reading is not something to finish, but something to experience? Here's your focus challenge. Choose one book, any book. and read it slowly, not to finish it, but to feel it. Notice what changes when you stop rushing. So before we go, here's your spark for today. We don't raise strong readers by speeding them up. We raise them by helping them slow down and stay present. Let that guide your week. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a teacher, a parent, or someone who believes reading still matters. Because every time a child falls in love with a book, they're also learning how to focus. Until next time, keep igniting curiosity, keep protecting attention, and remember, sometimes the most wonderful learning happens when we slow down enough to truly see the story in front of us. This is Anderson. I'll see you next time.